So now, my brothers and my sisters, we have finished the text that was summarized by the Shaykh in the speech of Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala in his kitab Zadul Mi'ad. So after going through this text, my brothers and my sisters, we can take a khulasa. We can take a summarization from the speech of Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala. Because what we can gather from his speech is that the wudu is of two types. The first type is the bare minimum, al-qadr al-mujzi'. That if one was to come with it, he would cover that which he has to do in order for his wudu to be correct. And then the second type is the completer version, where you come with all of the sunan of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the first type we're going to go through inshallah ta'ala very quickly is al-wudu al-mujzi'. Okay, the bare minimum. So an individual, he comes with the intention. After the intention, he says Bismillah. And then what does he do? He does the madmada and the istinshaq. He rinses his mouth and he also sniffs water up his nose. Okay? He does that once. And then he washes his face once as well. What he does after that is he washes his hands up to his elbows included. And then after that, what he does is he wipes his head, including his ears as well. And he does that once. And then what he does, he concludes his wudu by washing his feet up to his ankles included. 6 pillars that we took, right? It's been mentioned in here, bar the muwalat and also the tartib. You have to make sure that it's in order, and you have to make sure that one part of the wudu is followed by the next. And if you do that, my brothers and my sisters, you have now come with the bare minimum. And of course, the wudu has conditions as well, the prerequisites that you have to come with before the wudu, and that's a discussion for another time. As for al-wudu al-kamil, the completer version of the wudu of the Prophet ﷺ, and this was what he used to do most of the time. So what you do is, you obviously have to come with the conditions, make the intention, right? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The only way that your actions are going to get accepted is based on the intention. After the intention, my beloved brothers and sisters, one, he uses a siwak, the miswak, whatever they call it in the English language, right? The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, لَوْلَا أَنَ أَشُقَّ عَلَى أُمَّتِي لَأَمَرْتُمْ بِالسِّوَاكِ عِنْدَ كُلِّ وُضُوءٍ. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't want to make things difficult for my ummah, I would have commanded them to use the siwak before every wudu. So use the siwak. After the siwak, you must come with the Bismillah. You must come with the tasmiyah. You say Bismillah. After that, my brothers and my sisters, you wash your hands 3 times istihbaban. Okay, this is a sunnah. To wash your hands 3 times at the beginning is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I didn't mention this in the previous one. I didn't mention this in the qadr al-mujza, the bare minimum, because that's not something that is a must. However, the completer version is that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam washed his hands thrice, okay, before he did the madmada at the istinshaq, before he rinsed his mouth, and also he sniffed water up his nose using the same handful. So you do that thrice. And then you wash your face 3 times. And you have the beard as well, right? The sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is that he sometimes, okay, he done takhleel. كان يخلل لحيته, as it came in the hadith of Uthman. So to do that sometimes is also the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But it's not something that he used to do all the time. Hence why Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned in the text, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ يُوَاظِبْ عَلَيْهِ. He never used to do this in every single time. So after washing the face and also doing the takhleel of the beard, we wash our hands up to our elbows included. To also do this, it's called a takhleel, right? That's also something that is recommended that a person does sometimes. After that, we wipe over our heads. Okay, the bare minimum, as we mentioned, it is to wipe the head once, right? including the ears as well. However, we know that also the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after going down, he came back up like this as well, as it came in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Zayd. So to do that sometimes is recommended as well. After that, my beloved brothers and sisters, we wash our feet, and we include our ankles as well, right? So you wash your feet up to your ankles included, and we do this 3 times, which is the completer version of the wudu of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then after that, we read the dua that has been authentically reported. And through that, my brothers and my sisters, we have a khulasa, we have a conclusion, a summary of how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did his wudu. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us from what we heard. As I always do at the end of any book that I teach, I take the moment out to thank some of my teachers. And this is exactly what the scholars of the past have taught us in their books. That an individual, he shows his gratitude, he shows his thanks, his appreciation to those who have taught him. Even Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, when he put together the Qawa'id al-Fiqhiyya, the principles of Islamic maxims, fiqhi related principles, he mentioned وَهَذِهِ قَوَاعِدٌ نَظَمْتُهَا مِنْ كُتْبِ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ قَدْ حَصَلْتُهَا جَزَاهُمُ الْمَوْلَى عَظِيمَ الْأَجْرِ وَالْعَفْوَ مَعَ غُفْرَانِهِ وَالْبِرِّ. He says these qawa'id, I've put it together as a poetry, and I found in the books of the people of knowledge. And then he makes dua for them. جَزَاهُمُ الْمَوْلَى عَظِيمَ الْأَجْرِ. May Allah Azza wa Jal give them an immense reward. وَالْعَفْوَ مَعَ غُفْرَانِهِ وَالْبِرِّ. And also may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardon and forgive them. Also the poet, he mentions إِذَا أَفَادَكَ إِنسَانٌ بِفَائِدَةٍ مِنَ الْعُلُومِ فَلَازِمْ شُكْرَهُ أَبَدًا وَقُلْ فُلَانٌ جَزَاهُ اللَّهُ صَالِحَةً أَفَادَنِيهَا وَأَلْقِ الْكِبْرَ وَالْحَسَدَ. If anyone benefits you with a benefit from any science that it might be, always be thankful to him. فَلَازِمْ شُكْرَهُ أَبَدًا. And in some narrations, فَأَدْمِنْ شُكْرَهُ أَبَدًا وَقُلْ فُلَانٌ, so and so, say, so and so benefited me immensely. May Allah reward him with righteousness, and get rid of your arrogance and your envy that you might have in your heart that prevents you from being thankful and prevents you from being appreciative. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to make us from those that the poet mentioned, وَعَلِّمُهُ الرِّمَايَةَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ فَلَمَّا اشْتَدَّ سَاعِدُهُ رَمَانِي وَكَمْ عَلَّمْتُهُ نَظْمَ الْقَوَافِي فَلَمَّا قَالَ قَافِيَةً هَجَانِي. I teach him archery every single day. Once his forearm became strong, he ended up shooting at me. And then he says, وَكَمْ عَلَّمْتُ نَظْمَ الْقَوَافِي. How often did it take me to teach him how to put lines of poetry together? And the moment he was able to put one line of poetry together, the first one that he ended up dissing was none other than his teacher. So I just want to take out the time to just thank some of my fiqh teachers, like Sheikh Salih Sindi, Sheikh Abdul Salam al-Shuway'ir, Sheikh Khalid al-Mushayqih, and all of the other teachers who taught me that I benefited from. And based on their teachings, I was able to bring this forward to you so that you guys can benefit. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
فيا سائلا عن منهج الحق يبتغي سلوك طريق القوم حقا ويسعد تأمل هداك.
How will you answer the questions on the Day of Judgment if you don't know the answers?
كان للحق يقصد نقر بأن.
This is why the hadith mentions that seeking knowledge is obligatory on every single Muslim. Knowledge is how you will survive that day. Knowledge is a Muslim's survival guide.
Assalamu alaikum. I've got a quiz for you. This quiz, very simple. 3 questions, inshallah ta'ala. Question number 1. What does Allah's name, Allah, mean? Question number 2. What is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's full name? The third question is, when you go to the toilet and when you're doing tahara and you're using tissue paper to wash yourself, what is the minimum number of tissue paper wipes that you must wipe yourself with as a bare minimum that you have to do? Simple questions, right? If you have the answer to all three, then that means inshallah ta'ala you know Allah to some extent, you know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to some extent, and you know Islam to some extent. But if you became confused with these very basic questions, then as a brother, I have to ask you right now to really just take a step back and pause. These are basic things that are obligatory for every single Muslim to know. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Talab al-ilm faridatun ala kulli muslimin." Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim, one Muslimatin, and every single Muslim woman. You need to know this stuff. Allah created you to know this stuff. What is the evidence Allah created you to know this stuff? He created you so that you can worship Him alone, as He said in Surah Al-Dhariyat. How can you worship Him without knowing who He is? And how can you worship Him without not knowing how to worship Him? The study of Aqeedah and the study of fiqh. Take out 1 year of your life, part-time, just 4 hours a week, to learn about the absolute basics of your deen. We have a program starting, it's called the Muslim Survival Guide. It is what the title insinuates. It's a guide that will show a Muslim how to survive. Survive what? The questioning within the grave and the questioning on the Day of Judgment, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah, you're going to learn the basics of your deen. You want to carry on after that? Fantastic. But if all you want to do is take out this, at least you've got the basics. Now, it is a 1 year program, and it's being taught not just by myself, but multiple knowledge college teachers. We have 2 classes. In between the 2 classes, we have myself, Ustad Yassin, we have Ustad Ahad, and others. You can check on the page in the description below by scrolling down to see who the teachers are. We'll be teaching you, connecting with you personally, teaching you live. It's not just going to be audio and video. No, you will actually be communicating with us, inshallah ta'ala, in a class. But I must bring something to your attention. The spaces are extremely limited. So I'm really excited to have you on board the Muslim Survival Guide. Don't let shaitan get in the way right now. Just commit. For 1 year, 38 weeks, learn about your deen. And take that space before someone else takes it. And that's it. You're going to be with the Knowledge College teachers throughout the academic year. Sign up at the link below. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.